What's up, Deuterinos, and welcome back to the Game Addicts podcast, a show where we talk about the modern and retro video games that we play and collect. I am this podcast player, one Brando, and joining me here today is this podcast player, two Mike.
Hello.
Hello, good sir. This is episode 120.
It is.
We just attempted to do a live watch along, and it worked for about most of it, but we didn't catch we had some sort of hiccup on my end for the last part of it. And that was the PlayStation State of Play, which we were going to be doing this podcast right after anyway to really, really dive into what we saw. So what we're going to do is that we're going to watch along with two of the trailers that didn't get shown, that didn't get shown our reaction to. And yeah, I'm still reeling. If anybody that knows us, that knows like what was the genesis of the Game Addicts podcast, and that was you and I bonding over our love of Final Fantasy VII.
I get it. Genesis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But dude,
Yes,
I heard a rumor today that Square was going to be involved with this and with the State of Play, and maybe it's FF7 related, obviously, because there's still
all they got coming.
Well, I mean, there's that. Of course, we also heard, Year of 7 from the director of the game. And in fact, FF7 now has two directors. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've now got another guy to help out and really get this project rolling, right?
Which is exciting because that means that they're going to be really pushing to move it along, and hopefully one is doing quality control. Just saying.
Well, this was the first time that we have seen any gameplay from the game since it got taken away from the other guys, and they have restarted it from the ground up. It's a different kind of game than the original was, which is what we already knew that was coming. Very action based, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm not going to hold that against it. As much as I would just love a traditional turn based old school RPG, I understand that things are can be different now.
What would be amazing is if they allowed it.
That would be cool, but I don't think it's going to be possible with the engine that they have, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be very action
I don't think
oriented.
it would be that. I mean, I get it, but it shouldn't be that difficult to add in a turn base. Like, it literally should be, okay, action. You run in and it's like pause, go. But, it's not the way it's built.
No.
It would be neat.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen that way. And so I was, from the get-go, from the very beginning of the State of Play, there was a little ring, and I was like, dude, right off the bat, and they were like, no, Monster Hunter. Which is cool. It looked good, some new stuff coming to Monster Hunter this year, and that's awesome. That that is something that I want to say, that Capcom's killing it financially. That is the best-selling Capcom game ever, and now they're adding to it. They're adding a new expansion, and that's awesome. And then, of course,
And this is the first extra content that they've had that you have to pay for.
Yes, an actual expansion.
So
right?
when you really think about it, you've got all of this stuff leading up to this point that's been free.
Yeah.
And this is looks like a whole other area of the island that you are on. So that will be cool.
Yeah, right. And what else was there? There was like a 8-bit sort of 3D game heroes.
Yeah, that looked cool.
But it was like a dungeon crawler type deal, not a Zelda.
The one that matters. Predator.
Dude, it's being made by Sony. I can't remember what team.
This just came out of left field. It's just like,
completely. It
What's this? You see like soldiers walking in the jungle, and you're thinking, oh, okay, it's probably like another Call of Duty style game. All right, whatever. And then it just shows cloaked predator above them, and it does the clicking. You're like, no shit.
yeah, I
What?
loved it. It was a little teaser. It's a little teaser, and it's
And
a
that has been completely in the black. Like, no rumors,
mm-hmm.
no whispers. Obviously, that looked like in-game footage to me. So obviously, it's pretty far along.
Well, they said it wasn't actual game footage.
Oh,
Uh,
that one was. That's right. Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't
You're
game
right.
footage, but it could be in-game graphics. So I mean, at least they have some things, some properties done for it. But they said it's gonna be like a group online game, so probably similar to like a Friday the 13th, or like
Right.
a group versus a single, where one guy gets to play the predator and the other people play the other guys, and the
God,
dudes,
can you imagine playing the Predator?
dude, that's awesome. Of course, it's coming next year. Uh, and they're working closely with the guys over at Fox, aka now Disney, to make this
AKA,
happen.
you're right.
But dude, I was just like, yes, you know what? I don't know how much I'm gonna play it, but that is awesome. That was
Oh, I'm definitely picking it up.
that was a cool little, like, as you said, just out of complete left field. Didn't even expect that whatsoever.
Literally, it just came uncloaked.
Ha! I get it, but
But is it going to fillet us? That was too far. Too far.
Predator, Ramsey Bolton. I mean, really,
True.
but
True.
dude, I'm still reeling. I'm still trying to come down uh, from this because I streamed the first day to play by myself. I think I was on vacation when it happened, or whatever, or maybe it was while you were out. It's while you were out.
I had to be
Um,
I was out. Yeah.
and I just did it on a whim, just to try it out. Which we tried it today. We had a little bit of issues with it. I wonder if it wasn't some setting issue I changed yesterday, and was making everything run a little bit harder. And I wonder if that was it. Of course, we can always try again and keep going. And of course, we can always do it on your end too. So,
Right.
yeah, we are working to basically make sure that nothing like happened because we're streaming this on Thursday, which is when the show normally drops. But we are one day behind thanks to some technical issues on my end. Yesterday, my camera wouldn't work.
I know. But hey, it looks like that's fixed. And we'll go through and do a couple more. And hopefully that stays that way. No matter what, I am 100% getting set up over here.
Mm-hmm.
I am actually working on piecing stuff together.
Yeah,
So
it just
we
takes
will
time.
always have that option.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, we're going to be watching the trailers for MediEvil and the Final Fantasy teaser. Again, this is like teaser trailer number 2 because they had to. It's like they remade the teaser.
This is like the new one. But there's one thing I would like to mention. Did you notice that the name icons were original? So when it had, so like right up here, it said Barrett Cloud. It was the original Barrett Cloud, the blue background with
Mm-hmm.
the font.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't something new. I like that. It's just, uh,
Oh yeah, dude. Absolutely.
we're gonna piece it. We're gonna pick it apart.
We
But
are.
I say that first we go through our small topics
Yeah. Yeah.
because this is gonna take up a lot of time.
Yeah. Absolutely. First and foremost, this we don't have to discuss this too much because this is probably something that we both kind of saw coming eventually. But EA Access is coming to PS4. That has been on Xbox One and PC. Well, they have their own version called Origin Access.
Yeah,
But
it's Origin. Yeah.
but EA Access has been on Xbox One for a while, which lets you play games early, lets you play just for the subscription for like $5 a month or $30 for a year. You can pretty much get like the kind of like the more recent games, like you can do like Madden 19 from last year. You can be playing that right now. Not that I care, but I remember when Mass Effect
You could.
Andromeda came out, they got it like you can play like the first 10 hours early.
Yeah, but some of them are like 3 days early. I think Battlefield or Battlefront was 3 days early.
Mass Effect was it was like 2 weeks early.
See, that's a big jump. That's different than 3 days. Like 3 days, I can wait 3 days. But when you turn around, and you go, "Oh, here's 2 weeks." So
But
in this time, you can beat the whole game.
well, no. You can only play up to the first 10 hours or something like that. where they kind of locked you off and like, all right, now you got to wait for for it to come out. But it let you try the game, but also hurt it because a lot of people saw the early problems with the game.
And a lot of people are like,
And we got another visitor to say goodnight. Hey, dude.
What are you talking?
I'm talking to old Mike.
I'm talking. Oh, me? It's me.
Yeah.
Hello.
Whoa.
He can't hear me.
Here, he will. Hold on. I'm gonna put these on you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Can you
Hi,
hear old Mike?
Wyatt.
Hi.
Hi.
Turn
What are
to
you doing?
Turn to Galaxy. Bright game.
Wake up,
What are you talking about?
Turn to Galaxy. But don't I?
He's talking about the doggy.
Yes.
Yeah. We're doing a podcast.
We're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm doing it with you. Without
Yeah.
getting some really going. What I got closing, and I can't do this. Look like
Can't do this. Ah!
You are so silly.
Then the guy say, and I can't do this. Look
You
at
get
that.
excited and you can't do this, huh?
So, what
Well,
do you?
Doing wedding like free. That's what I.
I like how like you speak perfect English any other time, and then
What are
we
you doing? That
get you in front of
is-
a microphone and it's complete gibberish.
Or talking to the speaker.
Oh, we're talking to the speaker.
Wedding like makes.
Okay, who is that?
Huh?
Who is
Who
that?
am I?
Alright.
Who is it?
Right?
Who is that?
Yeah.
Is that old Mike?
Yeah. It is old Mike. I'm saying. And when I
What-
think
and what's old Mike doing?
he's doing a podcast with us.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right.
Can you say good night to everybody
Good night to everybody.
and say thank you for listening to the podcast?
Thanks for listening to the podcast.
And
Good night, Wyatt.
can you say you can download the show
You can download the show.
on your favorite podcast app?
You can load your podcast on the show.
Okay. All right.
You
Well,
can
I
load
love
your
you.
podcast on the show.
All right. We gotta say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good
All right, come
night.
here, dude. I love you.
I love you too.
All right, come here. Give me a hug.
Yeah.
I love you.
It's adventures and Spider-Man.
Yeah, it is.
And that's for playing with Mario.
This is for playing with Mario.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not gonna guys. Bye.
All right.
Good night.
Can you say good night?
No.
All right.
Good night.
Out of here, you goof.
Just so you know, you can feature your podcast on our show.
Oh, dude, that's
Just
like, do you see how quickly he's just like, "Woo, that's Avengers and Spider-Man and all that."
yeah, he
Um,
gets excited.
He does, and you know what? It even though that kind of derails the show sometimes, I think it's like the best. And it's hilarious because he gets in here, he just doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to say. He just spouting off because he's so excited to do it. He asked me today. He goes, "Can I do a podcast with you today?" I went, "Well, I got to go do a podcast with little Mike." He goes, "Can I do it too?" I'm like, "No, I maybe over the weekend you and Daddy will do a podcast by ourselves." And
There you go.
and I'm like, and then so now that he got back here, he was just like, "I can't do it."
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
dude, yeah, EA Access is coming. That's cool. I mean, the more places that is for the people who want it, is pretty much all I got to say about it. There was a quick thing about Sony filing a new crazy PlayStation VR patent that could change VR gaming forever. And it's way too expensive if they do this. It's basically where they have you sitting in a whole thing. I don't know if you'll be able to see it.
Oh, yeah, you can't afford that.
And it's like it would basically move your entire body and all that kind of stuff.
That would be me.
Yeah. So I mean, there's that. There was that one. There was well then I won't talk about that. Screw that. This one I do want to talk about. A new
Fine.
bill proposes ban on loot boxes and pay-to-win microtransactions. I talked to you about this yesterday while we were
Yes, we did.
fixing stuff up.
So
for the
before you
stream.
continue with this, I agree 100%
I do too.
with this because they do target children.
Hmm.
Like those little kiddie games, pay $100 and get all this. They don't understand. And I agree with this bill a lot, especially pay to win, because that would almost abolish pay to win.
So a U.S.
And
senator, oh,
all about it.
yeah, absolutely same.
Sorry,
Um,
sorry.
a U.S. senator has announced plans to introduce a new bill which would ban loot boxes as well as pay-to-win microtransaction elements in games. Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri proposed the Protecting Children from Abusive Games Act, a bill which would target games that sell loot boxes and other types of microtransactions to minors. If they make it far enough, these rules would be enforced by the Federal Trade Commission. The senator's announcement specifically highlighted pay-to-win mechanics and loot boxes as the two most abusive practices found in these days games played by minors. Candy Crush was specifically mentioned. Of course, Candy Crush is kind of like passe now, but back when it was hot, whew, so much money.
To be honest, it's still pretty hot.
Is it?
Like, yes, a lot of people. I'll look it up and see how many downloads it's had over time.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's had tremendous amounts, but I remember like it was more popular like 7 to 5 years ago than it is today because that.
Well, they keep updating it. So
Well, sure.
It's actually. I mean, it's still one of the top downloaded games currently.
Well, they have a bundle in there called the Luscious bundle that comes with a bunch of loot that costs $150 U.S. So social media and video games, the senator says, prey on user addiction and siphoning our kids' attentions from the real world and extracting profits from fostering compulsive habits. No matter this business model's advantages to the tech industry, one thing is clear. There is no excuse for exploiting children through such practices. He would go on to say that the companies who exploit these children that play their games should to exploit children that play their game should face legal consequences. Basically, he's saying that when a game is designed for kids, game developers shouldn't be allowed to monetize addiction. And when kids play games designed for adults, they should be walled off from compulsive microtransactions. Game developers who knowingly exploit children should face legal consequences. Loot boxes and other microtransactions, which are declared to be predatory by those who oppose them, have been addressed in other countries in the past. Belgium outright banned loot boxes and equated them with gambling, a decision which set a precedent for other countries to follow. The Federal Trade Commission is planning on holding a workshop on August 7th to discuss issues surrounding loot boxes, so expect more developments on the topics to come, if not sooner.
Australia banned Battlefront 2 for the loot boxes pay to win because of that specific reason, because they called it child gambling.
All right. Pretty similar deal here, other than like this guy's framing it as like, essentially you're making these kids addicted. Because I mean, we're the Game Addicts podcast. You and I are both, in a playful way, that we say, addicted to video games. We love playing video games, although I can go without. That was something that I thought of after we named the podcast. When I was like, did random search for us, it was like gaming addiction. I'm like, man, they're gonna like think that we're making fun of them, and I really don't. I understand that gaming addiction is like a real serious issue that people face, and I want people to get help for that. But there's no reason to try and like get kids really young hooked on microtransactions and pay to wins kind of stuff when they're 6, 7, 8 years old and they're just playing on their tablet, and then all of a sudden they get accidental access to a tablet or something with a saved credit card, and next thing you know, you have $700 worth of charges for Candy Crush.
So with that being said, I can admit that I was addicted to WoW for a long time.
Yeah, you were.
That's all I played. I didn't care about anything else. I literally went out and bought a new computer every year for it. So, yeah.
The bill is only just now being introduced, so it'll be some time until we see the outcome of it.
I think that we will see it go. I think it'll go somewhere. Will it do every... I think that they'll limit it to games targeted kids.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically under a specific age. But after that, I don't think it'll be 100% passed, but I do believe it to have some merit behind it eventually.
So I just saw that the Xbox E3 briefing will be on Sunday, June 9th. It's at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that would be like, was that 2, 3, 4 p.m. here?
That's good for us.
Yeah, it is, because we'll be off work and we'll be able to do it. Which means Bethesda will be later on that night, probably, just like last year. So good. Awesome. We'll be planning on doing that for sure. And hopefully no more issues for watching along with that. So
Right.
Oh, the only other things that I had, other than like us really going through these trailers, were a couple of cool articles. One about Capcom hitting record high profits last year thanks to its run of amazing games, and this was from PCGamer.com.
Awesome, Capcom. You did a good job.
It's been exciting to watch Capcom embrace the PC platform over the last year, and it's likely played a part in the company's success. Capcom posted its consolidated financial reports for the fiscal year that ended in March 31st, and its three biggest titles all played part in driving record results. The big titles for Capcom's last fiscal year were Monster Hunter World, Resident Evil 2, and Devil May Cry 5.
Which is awesome because those are games that... So Monster Hunter World, everybody was excited for it, and then it was way better than anyone predicted.
Mm-hmm.
And it really hooked a lot of people. But then you've got RE2. You knew that was going to sell. And then Devil May Cry 5. Those are two highly anticipated, highly followed games. I mean, a lot of those are gaming history for some of us, like Resident Evil is for us, for sure. It helped shape our gaming just experience.
The amount of PC sales per game has been on an upward curve. Back in February, Capcom COO Haruhiro Sugimoto, I actually got that pretty close.
I'm glad you said that and not me.
The percent. No, I went to another article. It's one of those pages where if you just accidentally swipe to the left or right, it just takes you to a whole new article.
Yeah.
I hate that. Because I'm sort of like a lazy scroller where like my thumb will just, that's up, you know?
Right.
But he says the percentage of sales for the PC versions of our titles have been increasing each year. For Monster Hunter World specifically, Capcom's financial state, the Steam version for PC also performed solidly, boosting profits. Those three tentpole games contributed to the record profits for Capcom in the last year, with net sales increasing up to 100,000 million yen.
All right, let me pull up a calculator to see how much that is. All right, hold on. What is
100,000?
Hold on. Yen to dollar conversion. You said 100.
It was 100,031 million yen. So it's like 100,000, comma 100, comma 031.
Hold on, comma 000. Okay, so 132 million. All right. Well, that's not right.
That equals to $75.
No, it'd be like 91 million. Hold on. No, it's 9. No, that can't be. I have too many zeros. There we go. So it looks to be 91 million
in US dollars.
In US dollars. Right? Because you said it was basically 100,032,000,000.
Essentially, because it's written as just 100. If you read it the way they have it written is 100,031, and then they wrote the word million and then yen. So basically, one of the things they also look into the company's strength as helping for this is Capcom's proprietary game engines, including the RE engine used by Resident Evil 2 and Devil May Cry, allowing for simultaneous development on multiple platforms, including PC, which in turn has contributed to increasing sales and improving profitability. So Good all around.
Okay, so if it's 131, sorry, I'm stuck on this, million zen.
Yen, not zen.
Yen. I get it. So that would literally be, that'd be $1,193,757.15.
Breaking it down right
It,
here.
it does it for me, so I'm gonna say it. If it's there, I'm saying it. Okay, don't judge me.
Because it almost seems like 100,000 million. That's such a weird way to say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like 131 million.
Like currently, like 1,000 yen is like about $9.
Yeah,
You
a
know,
1,000 yen is $8.93. So
it's a
it is
lot.
what it is.
I
Yeah,
mean,
either
still,
way,
it's crazy. It's crazy. One of the other things on the news docket today, this will surprise no one, absolutely no one,
not a soul.
nobody. EA said that Anthem's launch did not meet expectations.
Surprise!
Okay, I mean, this is. I mean, they said that during their financial report. This is not them coming out and saying, "Well, this is how we feel." Well, they had to say it because investors and shareholders were like, "Hey, what's up with Anthem?" And they're like, "Of course, yeah, it did meet our expectations. Uh, better luck
The
next time."
the game is amazing. Outside of it's empty. I mean that it's a shell of a game. It's
Yeah.
a shell of a good game. Like I just it could have been a good game. The 4-person every time you go into a mission thing is kind of weird. It's basically like you are always on the Mass Effect um, multiplayer.
Yeah.
And it's a cool idea, but it's just not what gamers are looking for right now. It's definitely a good game, but like I said, it's empty. Like there's nothing there. There's no story. The story's there. It's just not there.
Well,
There's no meat to it. It's just a bone.
and I said that even when I tried the beta, right? I felt right at home with the gameplay. I felt right at home with it. It was not anything that surprised me one bit. It was just like, wow, this feels right at home for me. Even though you had to get, how do you fly? How do you move around? Okay, but everything else was like, this is Mass Effect multiplayer. Which is a good thing to base a game off of. That's not that, they got things right with that for sure. This game could have been amazing, and it's not.
I feel like this is a awesome engine or awesome setup for Dragon Age and a new Mass Effect because
Mm-hmm.
it will work really well if that's how it is, and it would just it reminds me of Andromeda, a lot of Andromeda actually when I think about it. But
Turned up to 11.
yeah, so it's really good gameplay, so much fun. It's
My
just
my thing is, what I don't want for either one of those games is the setup of a hub world, and then you run out and you do stuff. I want more area. I want, if I'm gonna have a hub world, I want the Citadel.
right.
If I'm gonna have a hub world, I want like the the Inquisitor's Castle. I can't remember what that was called now, but I want that place where I can go around and talk to my characters and check stuff out and go explore. I mean, like that was one of my favorite parts about the Mass Effect games was going to the Citadel. This is the hub for galactic civilization where everybody comes to do market. People live here. This is not just a government space station. This is there's each of those wings, the spanning wings is a. Those wards they have skyscrapers. They have their cities, and people live there, and I loved it because the first Mass Effect, a lot of people say, oh, it starts off so slow because it's world building. You've never seen this before.
It has to be slow.
Dude, like you start off and it's like, okay, what are we doing? What's this all about? We're shooting stuff and we're gonna go do this. And Shepard got mind raped, and then you're just like, okay, what's going on? And then now we got to go to the Citadel, and you just run around for an hour,
Right.
because you're looking at everything. You're seeing all these species now. It's like they just like drop you in and go, have fun, check this out. And while some people can think that's boring, I think it's fascinating because I love that kind of crap. But Anthem,
Didn't meet expectations.
it didn't meet a lot of
It
people's.
didn't meet anyone's expectations.
To be fair, if you love that game, more power to you. More power to you. I don't ever, I have certain opinions, and I know and Mike, I know you do too, about certain kinds of games. I'm not into the battle royale. I don't like Fortnite. I'm not into PUBG. I'm not into Apex. It's just not my thing. I'm not into multiplayer in general, right? I'm
Right.
not into Call of Duty. But I'm not going to
Call of
crap
Duty.
on somebody who tells me they love playing Call of Duty. Because that's the thing, man. I got a shitload of games over here that I love playing. Someone be like, man, I just can't get into Final Fantasy. I'm gonna try and tell you how good they are, and tell you that there are things to really enjoy about them. But if you don't dig it, you don't dig it, man.
Right.
And I'm not gonna sit there. It's like, yes, I am glad I did not spend money on any version of Anthem. And you got to feel the same way because you got your code for free for buying your graphics card that you were going to buy anyway.
Yep.
Same with Blaine. He got it, played it like maybe.
I'll tell you what, I'm still upset because it said, Anthem or Battlefield 5. So I was like, okay, I'm getting Anthem because I don't care about Battlefield 5. But then when I got the email, it said Battlefield 5, Anthem, or Metro Exodus. And I'm like, ooh, Metro Exodus. And then it lied.
Yeah,
I would have picked that for sure.
It's a shame. It's just a darn shame. Is all I'm going to say.
A darn tootin' shame.
The last thing that I want to talk about is the Polymega. Do you remember the Polymega?
Yes.
So the Polymega, Mike, is
Yeah.
sorry about that. If you disappeared on the screen there for a second, it did that earlier when I switched over.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know why either. But however, the Polymega actually was part of the reason one time why we ended up getting a lot of clicks, views on a certain video, because when you search Polymega, one of our YouTube thumbnails showed up on Bing of all things. And
Bing, 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 bing.
of course, we've talked about the Polymega. It is basically a retro gaming console, and it does a lot. it does a crap ton, but it is modular, and so it basically, this is one of the first retro gaming consoles that will emulate disc-based systems. So on its base, you get I think 4 or 5 different CD-based consoles, and then of course, if you want to add cartridge base, those are by module. So they're up for pre-order now. These were up for early access or for the Kickstarters for those guys to get those in production first and get those rolled out. Now they're up for pre-order for people to buy. This is not necessarily cheap, but you get a lot of bang for your buck, and all this stuff is output via HDMI. That's important to as if anybody loves old games and old retro games, sometimes PC and PC ports are not the best way to keep these games alive, because they're not, faithful to the original hardware.
Right.
Sometimes they are, sometimes they're better, but sometimes they're just like, I read reviews just last week when May the 4th, there was, some of the N64 Star Wars games on Steam or whatever. And I remember you, Mike, telling me that to play, what was it, Morrowind on PC, you need to have a controller and keyboard or mouse or something like that.
Oh no,
half
you
and
don't
half?
need to. It was really weird. So we got it, we downloaded it, and I plugged into the controller, and I'm like, cool, we'll do controller support. I assumed that it was the Xbox port. Well, it was not.
No, it's PC.
It's PC, and they did not have controller support, but it still allowed us to click on it. So one of the buttons would move stuff around, and then it would open up a menu, like your thumbstick up would open a menu. I don't know. It was all types of messed up.
Well, for like a Rogue Squadron, the original N64 Rogue Squadron, you had to play it half keyboard, half on a controller. And it's funky, man. It's funky. But even though this doesn't do N64, that was just an example. But so let's look at this. Let's look at some of the pre-orders that they have here. They do have bundles. They have a bunch of bundles. But of course, we just want to check out the base console. The base console is $300, and you do get the wireless controller with it to play all your CD games. And let's click on that real quick and see what that gives us. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. And what does this give us out of the box? You only get the CD with this one. So, Mike, I was wrong when I originally told you that it comes with a module. It does not. So that is unfortunate, but it does come with a controller, and it comes with everything you need to get started. It comes with your little, there's your CD stuff and your USB in the back. You've got your, oh, man, that zooms in a lot. HDMI, network, and more memory and stuff. So this does PlayStation 1, Sega Saturn, Sega CD, TurboGrafx CD, and Neo Geo CD. Let's just take a second for $300, you get all those. That in itself is not a bad deal, because not only does it play all those systems, it plays the other regions of those systems. So Japan, North American, and European. It opens up all of those libraries. So games that are exclusive to either region, you're good to go.
So, what are the games that a normal gamer is? What are the systems that a normal gamer is going to have? PlayStation. And what was Saturn?
Saturn will be the next one. The other ones, Sega CD is around, but the other ones, TurboGrafx CD and Neo Geo CD. I want to take a second to give these two some love, because as a retro gamer, I don't see them around here at all.
Yeah, period.
None. But that doesn't mean that they don't exist in other bigger metropolises. And let's just say that, for the record, the hardware for the Sega CD, the TurboGrafx CD, are shoddy at best. They don't last for 20 years. Good luck finding a Sega CD that doesn't have issues.
Right.
Just in general. And there's a lot, that library has a lot of really cool games on it. So if you if you're really big into wanting to get into retro collecting and do all this kind of stuff, and you're like, man, Sega CD's kind of cool, I'm going to get me one of those systems. And now you got a system with parts that you can't replace, all this crap. This is your one-stop shop for this, and that's not bad, dude. It's $300. Yes, I get it. It's a little steep, but to start,
how much are each modules
now
alone?
Now let's go back. Let's look at the modules, because the cartridge modules that you can select to add on to this are NES, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and TurboGrafx, which is called the PC Engine in Japan. Now, I want to say that just like the CD aspects, all regions are supported for all those libraries.
Right.
Now, for the modules, they are $60 a piece. So there is the NES module, they all come with a new controller made by Polymega. Now, you can also plug in your original controller, of course, right? So,
right.
So there's your module. It sits right on top of that with your controller stuff, and then your cartridge right here. And then, of course, this is the new controller, which is a pretty much redesigned original controller with a menu button on it, so you can get back to your menu. Of course, your old controllers don't have them at all. The controllers do work for North American and PAL, because the Japanese controllers are just molded right in the damn console.
Right.
So, also, each module comes with preloaded games, a couple of them. So for the NES one, you get now some of these I've never heard of, but whatever, they're still free games. 8 Eyes, Nightshade, Target Renegade, Power Punch 2, and Treasure Master. Those are all the North American versions of the NES. Now let's go back and go hit the original module again because I actually want to see what games are on here. So for PS1 version of 40 Winks, I've actually played that game. It's like a 3D platformer game with a little kid running around with a candle. Viper on PS1. Then there's Iron Commando Super Nintendo. Which and there's also Top Racer. That is the Japanese. That's a Japanese Super Famicom game. Rescue the Embassy Mission NES, and then Battle Squadron for the Genesis. Those come on the base console without anything else. Now we're gonna go check out, just for shits and giggles while we're here, we're gonna check out the other modules to see what the other free games are. These are $60 a piece for a module, so you get the base thing and you get that, or you can do a big pack, and you can also buy other. Their controllers are $25 a piece for all those, and then their wireless controller is $40.
It's not bad.
No, for the super module set, again, same type of deal here, where we have, game up top and controller support and all that shit. So what are the free games you get for this? Dragon View, Legend, Gourmet Warriors, Pushover, Super Draken, that is a Super Famicom game, Top Gear 2, which we got Top Gear 1 back here in the States, but I guess we didn't get 2, and then Garame Sentai Baru Yaro.
If you notice, none of these have been system exclusives.
Sure.
I mean, maybe they have, but I'm saying, you have not seen a Mario.
You're not. And
you're not going to see those because they're not going to allow them to use their...
Big thing here. So this is the TurboGrafx module right here, right? So you got your Hue card going in there. Controllers. The original TurboGrafx only had one controller spot, if I remember correctly, and you had to get a little multi thing to have 2 players. So you get 2 players right off the bat. Comes with 5 preloaded games, which it doesn't say what it is in this one. That is a little disappointing. I want to know what they are. But this one does play. Oh, cool. So this plays TurboGrafx 16, PC Engine, right? And then Super Graphics, which is like the one that's like the next step up, which only had like 11 games in its library. It failed miserably. But then we have Genesis, same deal, same deal like we've been going through. And this one does have the games. This is Tin Head, Top Racer 2, Sword of Sodan, Brave Battle Saga, and Water Margin, A Tale of Clouds and Wind. So you can buy any number of combos. So they have 2 different bundles for $500.
You didn't do NES.
I didn't do NES. Yeah, I did.
No, not the original. Oh, wait.
Yes, I did. That was the first one I did.
Okay, my bad.
So they have a couple different bundles that you can get for $500, which is $200 extra from the base. You get all the modules.
That's actually a pretty good deal.
So you get the console with all those CDs, PS1, Sega Saturn, Sega CD, Turbo CD, and then Neo Geo CD. And then, and of course, Neo Geo, that is like all of those great arcade classics from Neo Geo.
Right.
And then all the modules. And all those modules come with a controller, or you can spend $650 and get all the modules, 2 wireless controllers, and an extra controller for each.
Yeah, I mean, that's not bad. I mean, $600 is pretty steep.
It is. I'm not gonna lie, that is steep.
But
for serious consoles. But for serious retro gamers wanting to, okay, so I can spend right now $500 and get this console that will play all of these. Or I could spend $400 on a converter to convert the systems I have, which I don't have a TurboGrafx. I don't have a Sega CD. I don't have a Sega Saturn. I don't have a Turbo CD. I don't have a Neo Geo.
Right. I'm not arguing it. I'm really not.
In order to get the FrameMeister, which would really allow me to convert my Super Nintendo,
and have a massive cable problem.
Exactly. You know, it's going to be a mess. You haven't been in my setup right now. It looks, I mean, my room looks a mess already with the stuff back there. You don't even want to see what's on this side. It is a jumbled mess. But it's how I got to do it until I can actually spend time back here to get everything cleaned up. Shut up. Don't even talk to me. Anyway, I am excited for this and want to get it. I want it to do well because I won't be able to get it for a while.
Right.
But maybe Christmas or tax time next year, I can get some of these. Maybe I can get the base because I'm thinking like, what would I want, you know, to start off with? It's like I want the Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
That's my jam, man. And so I would get the base model because I have 140 PS1 games. Now, granted, okay, I got a PS3 right down here. What's the big deal? We have seen Sega CD and Saturn games here that I would buy if I had those systems, and I don't have those systems because good luck finding even Saturns aren't as reliable for long term.
No,
and there's no current way to play those games in this format. So, or in a HD
you're
format.
looking at the your HDMI is the big one. So it does not sell the console with one module.
It doesn't sell it with one module. It just sells it as a base. So they don't bundle it with a module like I thought they did. Maybe they had a Kickstarter one for that when they first started. Now for general pre-orders, they're like, look, here's this. And then, of course, they're trying to sell the bundle, which has them all, right? And I get it. I completely get that. I kind of wish they did have a bundle with one where you can get this one and one other one for because it's $60 for the Super Nintendo one. So that's $360 right there. But it'd be nice if it was just a little bit cheaper to get to bundle them together. But I get it. I completely get it. I'm not too tore up about it, to be honest. It be what it be.
Right.
But I'm trying to remember what this was called when we very first talked about it. Do you remember that? Because they changed it to Polymega because there was some sort of name dispute. Do you remember that? It's an old. It's back in the archives over at GameAddictsPodcast.com. But anyway, now that we've gone through that, now we can look at the trailers. You want to look at the trailers? So those those listening, we're gonna watch the trailers. They're about a minute and something apiece. So please enjoy not viewing this. but we are going to talk about them afterwards. So we are going to go ahead and get rid of. Do you want to do MediEvil first?
Yes.
Alrighty.
Because we are going to have a problem with 7. We're going to pick it apart.
Now, unfortunately, the way I have this set up, I guess I could just go to the YouTube channel and just that way we could pause it. If you wanted to do that, but that would be more time.
Yeah, just go ahead and go.
Go ahead and go, because I have them downloaded, ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and start MediEvil trailer right now. May contain content inappropriate for children.
In the kingdom of Gallowmere, a sorcerer named Zerok.
I hope you can hear that because I can't.
Yeah, I can. It's going pretty good.
Out to take the realm. So Daniel Fortescue led them.
So I like the way he takes an arrow to the eye.
Against this unholy horde.
Like,
Fortescue went down in history that day.
Like right off the bat.
Well, it shows how he dies because obviously the old medieval game and dead.
Fate has given it a second chance. A chance to
It looks
defeat
good.
Zerok.
It doesn't look overly amazing, but it looks good enough because it doesn't need to be.
It's MediEvil.
Yeah. And if I remember, MediEvil sucked to play. It was hard.
It was. This looks a little bit more fun to play.
Legend.
To be honest with you, this looks, because I mean, the whole control scheme and camera stuff for that game was a little bit difficult to get used to.
And now it won't be. I mean, it should be pretty good.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy they remade this.
So am I. This is one of those little Sony nuggets they have tucked away in a closet somewhere where, just like October 25th, just in time for Halloween, and you got a whole.
So far, they have not released a digital or a physical, only digital. I want to make that clear to everyone. So far, we have not seen a physical release or pre-order of that. So be prepared for it to only be digital only.
Hope
That's all
not.
I've seen.
Hope not, but
Everything I've looked at only shows that.
just like some of the old, that they have games that they haven't revisited in a long time. That they could revisit with the new, coat of paint.
Dragoon.
Legend of Dragoon is one, and for RPGs, since there's a lack of stealth action, Siphon Filter, they could do something completely new with that, and really update that. There's I don't know, SOCOM. You could bring SOCOM back with how the PS4 has, kind of caught up to some people. So like the Xboxes and PCs with their integrated group chats and all that kind of stuff. Why aren't you doing another SOCOM game? Especially when you can do a SOCOM with different modes, like, I don't know, a Battle Royale. God. Look, I'm just saying, you could
popular,
do it.
I know.
It's popular, and you could do it, and then you can also make a story mode where you can play with your friends, or you could do a group battle, all that kind of stuff, right?
Anyways, moving on.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. FF7 trailer. We're going to watch
I
it
wish
right
we
now.
could pause this one.
Oh, I can do it. I can bring it up on YouTube. It's no big deal.
Do it.
I will
Because
do
I
it.
want to be able to pause.
Okay.
So make sure you can see your pause bar.
Yeah, right. Okay, we're going to have to go to the PlayStation's thing.
Are we? Because they don't have an individual one up on YouTube yet?
Yeah, they do. Ah, shut up. Their state of play. We're not watching you entirely again. All right.
Oh, okay. I see
There
what
we
you
go.
did.
Okay, so we're going to full screen that, and we're going to watch it and pause it if we need to. Development footage subject to change. The return draws closer. Eris.
She looks so good. Right there. Pause it.
Oh.
Go back. There.
All right. So we have the blue boxes.
Yep.
Okay, we have HP, which are fighting a scorpion, and Bear's got 1,000 health.
Yeah.
1,211 health and 25 MP. That doesn't make any damn sense. But notice that underneath there are two little lines.
Yep.
That looks like it's probably ATB. So you can do two different attacks via or maybe not ATB. Maybe that's
your limit.
What's that? Limit? Yeah.
I bet that's your limit because look, Cloud has 2 limit bars full.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're taking it to where you have a like cross slash. Cross slash will only be a 1 bar limit, but Omni slash, just for example, will take 2 bars.
Okay.
Because it's just a high damage.
Now over here on this side, on the left-hand side of the screen, triangle button does a like something called Punisher. Square button attacks, and circle opens the command menu. So.
And we're wondering, what is Punisher?
It could be like a power attack. It could be something like that. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Maybe like a death blow or something.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought, or I don't know.
All right.
But I wonder if that's going to be able to be tweaked, because with it being that fast, you're going to want to be able to pick Fyra, Ultima.
Well, okay. So here's the thing, and I'm going off of Kingdom Hearts right now. So in Kingdom Hearts, you have those buttons, right? Attack, jump button, all that kind of stuff. And then you hit L1 and you hold L1, and those commands right here, they change. So then you can put Fyra, water, ice, whatever, to each button thing. So then it's like while holding L1, then you're doing magic, and then you let go of it.
I definitely need that. But okay, continue the show.
Okay, so here we go. All right. So notice that we have the train station here.
Yep.
And we actually have trains going to Sector 5. Sector 8 is obviously red because that just happen. And this is Jessie.
Mm-hmm.
First time that we have seen her. Well, kind of. So they're running, and then hair tonic. There's a little thing for hair tonic. There's Barrett running. They're jumping over. They're not paying for their tickets. All right. So Cloud, there's a countdown just like before.
Yep.
Place is about ready to blow up. He is shimmying along. Buster Sword's hanging off his back here. And
To help take the load off your shoulders.
There's Barrett. Now, if you looked at Barrett's shots, were very low damage.
so we're going to go back just a second.
Right there. See how it's so it's gonna have your
Sorry. So, yeah.
yeah
So
like 3, 2, 3, 2.
1.
Yeah.
Looks like he's just doing okay. So his is his triangle does a move called back blast.
I don't know these terms.
So notice, okay. So now we have
Where's
Tifa.
Tifa?
Tifa's in the party. There's Cloud up here.
Yeah.
Where is she at? Maybe she's one of these. Maybe she's one of these blurs up here.
I'm thinking maybe the red off to the left of the shots.
Oh, over here.
Yeah.
Well, that also looks like there's maybe something going by, but anyway, there's also underneath the magic bars there is another bar underneath that.
Well, crap. One of those has to be the limit. Maybe the yellow is that looks more like a traditional limit break.
Bar. So maybe that's the limit bar, and these are special attack bars.
And that's your back blast, your Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
So they're adding another
Yeah.
ability.
So I can understand nerfing his normal shots because because since you're not just sitting there like having him attack once and then pull back and then go attack again, like so like when you switch over to Barrett and you're like the range dude, you're just like trying to hold down fire. You're doing small little small continuous damage, and of course you could probably do some more damage with other attacks. Meanwhile, your melee guys, Cloud and Tifa up there, they're up there hitting for a lot more.
Yeah. And Tifa's pretty much like dancing around like a freaking ninja.
Yeah. But we'll go ahead and continue. All right, there you go.
This is a limit.
But look over here. We have L1 shortcuts.
Yep.
Box is braver. Circle is potion, and there's one for triangle button and for X button.
All right.
So.
And it looks like you can L2 to target Tifa and L or R2 to become Barrett. So you can flip by the R's.
Yep.
The trigger buttons. It looked like he was doing a limit right there.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Here, this is for you.
A flower?
A flower for you. Now, yeah, see, he's doing 30, 40, 140. That was a limit. Go back.
That was a cross slash, wasn't it?
No, go back. Pause, go back.
Even further?
A flower?
So there's flower.
Oh, wait. Pause.
So he's doing normal attacks right now.
Yep. Keep going until Barrett does his
Also,
blast.
notice in the party, Cloud,
Aerith.
Aerith, and Tifa.
Yes.
And that looks like one of the turtles. They're in the sewers.
Yep. Keep going. Keep going. See, he's blocking here.
Yeah. And then he swung and knocked Barrett down.
Yep. There. That looks like... It looks like Big Bang.
But I didn't see any bar decrease or anything.
744.
No, that's
That has...
Well, what happened? Get back on there full screen. So
That's
now,
cross slash.
Yeah, so now he's doing cross slash.
Can you bear to see the planet suffer? Cloud.
I also like this. That was different. With Sephiroth standing there, can you see the world?
Well, and More to come in June. So at E3, we're going to see more. And that's going to be while we're at work. So we're not going to be able to watch it live. But okay, so what I definitely want, just like you said, I want to point out that the whole, that looked like when Cloud was kind of losing it when they're at the reactor and he's like, "Careful, this isn't just a reactor," and you're like, "What?" Like, what? And it just doesn't make any sense right there. Now he's getting a little whoosh, and you're like, "Who is this guy?" So now you're getting more context.
You're getting more context in play,
Yes.
not having to piece it all together like we've had to in the past.
Well, and the thing is that you'll get to piece it together, but because I doubt that he's going to just be like Sephiroth, like from the get go. He's just going to react like, "What's that?" And Barrett's going to be like, "Are you okay?" Yeah.
He might. If he hears Sephiroth's voice,
Mm-hmm.
he will, because obviously he's worked with Sephiroth through Soldier, which not the same Soldier that he says he is. But so I wonder how they're going to do this, because that would be interesting if they start showing early Sephiroth starting to have control over the Genova clones.
Well, the thing is that we also have to remember that there's a good chance this is part 1 of 3 games or something like that. So where does this part end? And if they want to tie in Sephiroth into it, doing this to tie him in early gets him into the plot earlier than the original game, where he doesn't come in at all. Really,
Until the Ancients.
Until the Shinra building, when they're like,
Yeah.
they start. Well, because then like Cloud says, "I want to be," as a kid, he's like, "I want to be like Sephiroth." And he's like, "Isn't he a great soldier?" Yeah. And then later on, it's like, Sephiroth killed the president. He was rambling on about saving the planet or whatever.
That's still before you leave Midgar in the original.
That is right before you leave Midgar. And
Right.
so let's just pretend we're not leaving Midgar at all in the first part, or however they're going to spread apart the whole game into 3 parts. We don't know what they're going to add in to pad the story or to expand it with all the other things they could draw from. We don't know. And again, just like the first teaser, we're seeing stuff from pretty much the first 7 hours of the original game, where we saw that. I want to say, from my eyes, I saw the absolute latest part of the game was Tifa, Eris, and Cloud in the sewers after the Don Canaria thing.
Yes.
And so that is still before the that's right before the Sector 7 plate falls. That is like, in storyline ways, about maybe halfway, because you're not to the Shinra. You're after that you go to the plate, and then after that you go back to Eris's, and then you go to the Shinra building.
Yep.
So maybe you do leave Midgar in this first spot, and they're gonna have the story. Who knows? I don't exactly know.
Want them, and I think it is in their best interest to stop at Golden Saucer.
I know and you've said that before, because you want people to enjoy the mini games.
Yeah, I mean, you get a chance to enjoy the mini games. You get a chance to play that, the battle, the arena, and you get a chance to see a little bit of Cloud's confusion with who he is, like actually who he is and who he thinks he is. I think that would be really cool, because obviously Aerith literally states, "You're so much like him."
We'll see. Okay, so you want to stop for the second Golden Saucers pot, because that's when that happens.
Yes.
Okay, so
You could stop at the first one or the second one. But the first one
at
is
least
before you go to Cosmo Canyon.
Yeah.
So if you stop there, then you're still leaving
all that
the
story open.
Red 13 story open, obviously, Nibelheim.
This is so
and
difficult.
Cid's.
So difficult to figure out within the original story where you're actually going to cut it off. Like, you know what I mean?
Because if you do that, this game, you are not introducing Kate Sith to the party.
You would just be getting Kate Sith.
You'd just be
If
seeing
you get there.
Kate Sith, right? And then you don't get Vincent.
You don't get Sid either.
And you don't get Sid either.
Man,
but
I don't know.
Because that leaves expansion for the next game.
Well, because all right, in my mind, Okay, in my mind, I'm trying to think of like where would you logically end this, and when I'm thinking of the game, I know they want to do three. They want to do three, and I would end the game with Eris's death.
That's also a spot that I would love to have, but that is a lot of content.
That is a lot.
You're talking about adding the entire first disc, which literally is every character added. The Yuffie.
Yeah, it gets all the characters. It gets most of the storylines either started or completed almost, because
Well, one of
Barrett's
them definitely completed.
well Barrett's and Red 13's kind of complete themselves by that point. They either
right.
get rolling. You kind of establish Tifa and Clouds a little bit more. The other characters get rolling, and then Eris is of course completely complete until like later on.
I'm trying to think. You do not get the high wind.
No.
But you have no.
But you also wouldn't have a free roam thing after. You would pretty much be, you get to that point, you would be able to probably reload from this point of no return, and then go do what you want and all that kind of shit and have fun. But it's like, hey,
Well, once you go to the tower, the ancients, you're stuck.
Right. But I mean, and that's something that they can change. Like when you're on your way to go save Eris, you can be like, I'm gonna go to Gold Saucer for like 40 minutes, and just play boxing.
That the second round opens up Chocobo racing.
Yeah.
For Golden Saucer.
Yeah.
Obviously, at this point in time, I don't think that you can capture. I don't think you can make a gold Chocobo.
No. In fact, you also cannot even stable them. So, because you have to be able to, I think you have to have the high wind in order to start stabling.
I don't think so. I think you can stable, but it's a lot easier.
I don't know.
No, you may be right, because you're right, because there's no way to. There's not a Chocobo stable everywhere. There's only the one.
Yeah.
But they may add more to this.
Sure, and you're right, because there's so much more to add in, and that's also what I was going to say as far as like splitting the game up. Originally the game was going to be on 2 discs, not 3, and the only reason why it was on 3 is because there were all the extra stuff they wanted to add in. It was kind of cramming it in onto the second disc, and they were running out of space, so they added the entire last dungeon and all the extra stuff onto 3.
Yeah, because they had no intention on adding Emerald, Ruby to the game.
Well, and those aren't even in the Japanese version.
Right. They're not even in the Japanese version. They only added it because they had the space to.
Sure.
And they were like, yeah, let's.
And then they have.
Weapons are here. Let's just put them in there. I mean.
Now, they did get a version called the FF7 International, and those are on that version. But what I was saying is that, after Eris's death, plot-wise, like, you get a lot of backstory, but there's not a lot going on for a good 3 to 4 hours as you're going through these dungeons, and there's not a lot of talking, there's not a lot of exposition and growing, and then you get to the reunion part, and then you get to the cloudless section, and then you get to the huge materia section, and then you get to refinding Cloud, and then you get to the other huge materia, and then you go to space. And then you got to find the key, and then you got to go back to Midgard. Then you got to fight Weapon, and then you got to get into Midgard. Then they can add so much more for what they've done to the subsequent stuff. Like the whole Zack stuff could be deepened on Finding Cloud. They can add so much more to that, other than you going and finding it, like where they don't even really go into it in his little in-head thing, where you got to go back and get the flashbacks when you go back to the basement. Add all that stuff in. Add all of that in. Expand, because you have Crisis Core. You have Before Crisis. And you have those to pull from before the game even takes place, where you can add more depth.
Right. Well, where do you end the second game? They said that this is going to be episodic. So, first one, let's say Ancients. Where do you end the second one? Because
the first one is Eris's death in City of the Ancients, and second one,
I'm sorry. Where do you end the second one? Because if you end at Ancients, the City of Ancients, Eris's death. Where do you go from there? Because once you get the high wind, it opens up the entire map.
I know.
So, do you stop at the high wind?
See, and that kind of sucks because then it's like then you spend like the entire second part is a very kind of a downer, and then you just as soon as you get hope returned, then like the game's over, and it's like
But adding the high wind and changing it up to where you can do all of the flying chocobos,
and then you
golden
can
saucer.
then you can have all that save data carry over.
You can literally just take the time and grind that crap out. Because if you've ever done any of this, the chocobo thing to make a golden chocobo to get your Knights of a Round is a big deal.
Yeah.
It takes a long time. I would prefer it to end there because that's very difficult to achieve. It takes a lot of time. But as you said, if you end there, at that point, do you even fight weapon?
No,
You don't
No.
even fight weapon.
not yet. I mean,
So
you
you
do
could-
after you get Cloud back, but that's like you do like 3 things before Diamond Weapon even shows up. Now, here's the thing. If I were in charge of this project, Brando, charge of this project, I would just have it be 2 games.
I would.
I would have it be, as I said, up to Eris's death. Boom, you get hit in the punch. You get punched right in the gut. And then game over. You're like, what the fuck? And then you come back in and you go through the rest of the journey. And then, of course, in the second game, I would include the final version of Advent Children
Right.
included. I mean, they've already sold however many copies of that movie that they're going to sell.
It's hard to think about where they're gonna go with 1, 2, and 3 because 1 is that one of like, do you go that far or do you end in Nibelheim?
Or,
Because you can end in Nibelheim and that would literally set up Sephiroth. Where
sure.
you would know what's going on, who the villain is, and then end it.
Or do you just focus the entire first game on that first continent?
Right.
And just have where you can go by the end of the game, you can go all over that first continent, and it's like, wow, this is a big place, And then the second game opens up the entire world, and then it ends with Eris's death, and then the rest of the game, the third game, is everything thereafter. I don't know because I mean you could do a lot in a 30-hour story, with if you wanted to expand. Because I mean, just say like if you're just taking your time, it takes 10 hours to get out of Midgar in general.
What's the So first continent has
Midgar, Calm, Chocobo, Cave, Fort Condor, and then Junon.
And Junon would be where you end it, where you're on the boat
Yeah.
going to the port that goes to Golden Saucer. That could be good.
I mean, and then the second game picks up from when you get to Casa del Sol. You get ready to go, and then the rest of the character storylines kind of wrap
I love
up.
Casa del Sol.
Yeah,
I love Casa del Sol.
Yeah, kicking Red 13 with the soccer ball. I do it every time.
You're so mean to him.
Dude, I love him, but he's just like, he's just laying there, and it's like, boom. I remember, like, when I was a kid and I first found out that you could do that, I died. I was laughing so hard. And then he doesn't talk to you again. He just growls at you. He's like, you son of a bitch. And then, of course, Barrett wearing his sailor suit and looking in the mirror in the bathroom of the hotel. Oh, yeah, looking fine. Oh, man.
I like to see that. I'm also really interested in seeing the interaction between Tifa and Cloud.
Same.
Because that's the love story.
I really wish that our live stream wouldn't have messed up. And, of course, now it's running perfectly fine. I don't know if you've noticed. We've dropped no frames, nothing. Everything's fine. And even when I was doing the whole FF7 watch-along thing, yeah, nothing, no issue. So it had to have been that setting issue that I messed with trying to get the camera to work. Now, I wish people would have seen that because they would have seen my face. They would have because I was like this, you know, and I
Yeah.
had, you know, I know that my glaucoma and my meds make my eyes water, but I was actually having teary eyes,
I was too.
thinking that we're getting this close. This is a teaser. We're going to see more in June. Here's
Now, do we get a date in June or a release window? I think we'll get a window.
I think a window, and I'm going to make a guess.
Guess it out.
Next year. I think next year. I
That's
think
pretty large scope
I
here.
think-
Let's narrow it down to at least a season.
shoot for spring.
I think spring.
Shoot for spring.
I'm thinking the end of their physical year.
Okay, shoot for the March 31st by that day. However, don't say that at this E3. Just say 2020.
That's what they're gonna do.
And then as you get closer, because you got like all these people doing this work, depending on how far you are, you look
We're
at
gonna
it.
have PSX, so you're gonna get a little
Sure.
bit more at PSX.
Absolutely. And by then they'll be able to, by then they'll know for sure whether it's coming out in the spring.
Right.
And then if it's not,
At least close.
and if it's not, September. Start September. Start, around the holiday season of 2020. We have new systems coming out, but this is coming out on PS4. I have a feeling that first game's coming out on PS4. And then there'll be a PS5 release, like standalone PS5.
Yeah.
So,
Now here's the question: do you buy it for the PS4? Or
Oh,
do you buy it?
yeah,
I
Are
mean, I know that I'm going to buy it
day
as soon as I
one.
can.
Day
But-
one. I'm not going to have a PS5 when this thing comes out.
God, I told my wife that be prepared for the savings to get drained.
Well, because here's the thing.
Because if they have an exclusive PS5 console, I will live at GameStop for a couple of days. It's gonna happen,
So,
and I don't like GameStop.
right? No, yeah. No secret here. But if this game is a multi-game story, which they've said that before, they've kind of reiterated it. We'll see how far they're willing to push that and go. We'll see.
Right.
Note that will we see all three entries on the PS4? It's possible. I think it's possible.
Possible.
Now, bear with me with that because there's 100 million PS4s out there. This game is being, all three games are being developed on the same engine for the same consoles. There's no reason. Yes, by all means, put it on the PS5. There's no reason not to because you're silly if you don't. But you have 100 million people out there with PS4s. Think about how many. Think about over in Japan. Persona 5 came out right
Mm-hmm.
on the PS3.
Yeah, I bet they will go with the PS4 and then give you the option to have a PS5 texture update.
So there's that, but also, if you just have a PS5, you can buy the PS5 version. I guarantee you. So think about this: PS5 comes out in in November of that year of 2020. FF7's already a launch game, if it's out by then.
Yeah.
But can you imagine if also Sony's working with Square, and they decide, well, you're going for 2020 anyway. We're going for 2020. PS5 launch game.
Oh, I bet it will be.
Now that doesn't mean that it won't also be on the PS4, because I guarantee you, because they've already said that there's going to be kind of a blend because they know how many consoles they have out for PS4, and they know that it would behoove them not to to sell copies of these games on that console, So if on one hand, people will be like, well, I don't need to buy a PS5. I can just get it for the PS4. And you're right. You are absolutely right. But for those who are going to want to update and upgrade their consoles to, this powerhouse that they're going to have a customized, merged in SSD with an HDD that's going to pretty much eliminate PS4 load times.
Right.
And game communication. Everything that I'm seeing about this damn PS5 is that it's going to be a damn powerhouse. You're going to get 4K gaming at 60 frames minimum every game. And with them saying we're going to do 8K gaming, we better do that, right? So
Yeah.
So that would make total sense to me. Like, hey guys, guess what? FF7, you get it first on PS5. So can you imagine? It's like for the first, like, PS4 version comes out January, November, PS5 version.
Yeah. Give them
That
plenty of
would-
time to get a texture update.
Sure, it would give them time to do the texture update, but it would also give that PS5 sales a little bit of, because there's going to be people like that can't wait, like you and me.
I still say it'd be, if it was me, I was Sony at this point. I would release it on PS4, but I'd also say screw that shit, and I would release it on PS5 same time. Make the drop time the exact same time, because
That's perfect, and and in a perfect world, I would do that too. But you're also thinking about, like, well, let's get at least 1.5 million consoles sold in the first week.
well, that's what I'm saying is, like, if you bundled it together, people like me are gonna go, okay, well, I've got a PS4, that's great, but I'm just gonna go ahead and buy the new PS5 with this, because I will trade in my other PS4
Mhm.
because I have to.
Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to do that because I got the God of War one, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I just got the standard Black Pros, so I don't care.
Yeah, and I can't trade in my old one because it's been opened and fixed.
Yeah.
What a do! I'm super excited. I'm gonna watch that trailer again on my big TV, and then mark out and show my wife, and she's not gonna care, but
No.
but she'll understand why I have a little twinkle in my eye tonight. But I think that's all I got for tonight, man.
Yeah, that's all I got.
I'm super excited. I'm super excited that we actually got up together to watch that and waited. I'm so excited that we waited a day. I'm so excited we had technical issues to wait a day, because it made this episode even more, because this is something that we have been clamoring. We've been wanting more information, and we finally got just a little bit of a tease. And at E3, we're gonna get a lot more. And I'm so glad, because I was a little bit worried about because you're going to go to Nights for a week, and I'm like, man, is he going to Nights during E3? That would suck. And I'm like, nope.
I made sure not.
Nope. We are you'll be back the week of E3, so it's going to be
all my appointments for specific days.
It's going to be showtime. It's going to be showtime for sure. We are going to live stream all the stuff that we can, and then of course the ones that we don't.
Microsoft Bethesda
for sure. We might be at work, because last year we were at work for the EA thing. I mean, for E3, I mean, this is just where I'm coming from. If we're not at work, I want to be streaming, what I can for live reaction, and then of course, then we can kind of bundle in our thoughts. We can do a live reaction, talk about it there, and then also bundle it in for the podcast for that next week. So. That's all I got, Mike.
That's all I got.
Well, guys, thank you so much for checking out this episode of the Game Addicts Podcast, episode 120. That's 120. And of course, if you checked us out live, you can do that each and every single, normally Wednesday. Today was Thursday. We had a little snafu. But each and every single Wednesday live on our Twitch at twitch.tv/GameAddictsPlay, as well as our Facebook page. You can check that out there as well and like that. Give that a like at Game Addicts Play. Of course, you can check us out on all of our social medias, including Twitter and Instagram at Game Addicts Play. And, our podcast is on podcast services around the globe, including like Apple Podcasts and Podbean and Stitcher and Spotify and TuneIn, Google Podcast. Check out your favorite one if we're not there. Reach out to us on either one of all those social medias, or leave a comment, or reach out to us on email. Nobody emails us other than our services. So GameAddictsPodcast@gmail.com, and check out the website GameAddictsPodcast.com. That's our main hub for the podcast as well. But one last plug for you guys, and that's the YouTube channel. Why the YouTube channel? It's your one-stop shop for everything that we do for our video podcasts, audio podcasts, and gaming content that we put out. Check out Game Addicts Podcast on YouTube. We show up right there. Give us a subscribe and help us build up our followers over there. Mike, I'm so happy. This is the happiest I've been in a long time. It's been a long couple weeks. This is like the third long week in a row. I've been tired. I've been exhausted. And now I'm going to be like having a little bit of giddy in my step tomorrow as I'm thinking about this trailer. As we dissected it here, I'm so happy that we got to.
I can't wait to see some of my favorite YouTubers frame by frame this.
I'm so happy that, we were going to do this anyway. And we did it. And it was that, there was that rumor about the little nugget. Of course, the first State of Play kind of underdelivered. People were like rabbling in the streets about it. And we got a little bit of a surprise at the end. So
I'm sorry, but this has been an amazing State of Play. For 10 minutes, we got to see MediEvil, Final Fantasy VII, in the Predator game.
The Predator, and then of course there's a few other nuggets that were in there as well. That weird little. The only one that was weird was that one away game.
Squirrel. It was this Cure Survive. It was Away Survive.
It's interesting. It's a new idea, but what do you know, man?
At first, when I saw the chipmunk, I was like, "Why are they doing a biomutant thing?"
Yeah. Well,
I'm not mad, but it's kind of weird.
Last State of Play, I kind of gave it. A lot of people gave it thumbs down. I gave it thumbs in the middle because we got a lot of cool things that weren't really interesting to me, but were still kind of cool for gaming in general. And then we got a big Days Gone type thing. It's like one last push to, hey guys, this game's coming out and all that kind of stuff. This time, I give it a thumbs up. yeah. All right, Mike.
If you don't give it a thumbs up, you are wrong.
And listeners, we give you all thumbs up too. Until next time, I've been Brando.
And I've been Mike.
Game on, guys. Have a good one.